Welcome to 13. Let's go. I missed y'all last week. Well, we're back and we'll be back every week. We do this every week. Welcome to 13, you guys. First things first, happy Memorial Day weekend. To all who are currently serving, to all who have served, all of our family and friends who have served, mad respect. Mad respect. Thank you for serving. That said, that kind of brings about Memorial Day and the fallen and other things, and it brings about freedom, right? So freedom. Since day one for this country, freedom is what we fight for, right? It's what we want in this country. But there is a movement going on that Mike Harubi and I, who I'm going to shamelessly do a little plug for right now, we do it every Monday. Join us on Mondays, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We do 20 minutes, 25 minutes tops on a different subject every week. And we need your videos, guys. We need 30-second videos from you guys on why you like to be independent contractors. Simply, my name is blank. I am from the blank market. You could say a city or a state, whichever you prefer. First name only, and city or state, whichever you'd like. Nothing more than that. And I prefer to be an independent contractor because that's it. 30-second video. And the one that is the most basic that most people can relate to is because of flexibility, especially those who participate in the gig economy in a part-time basis. And to those of you saying, but I don't, I'm a full-timer, I listen, I'm watching these all the time. I'm a full-time worker. Okay, but 85% of the gig economy is part-time. So if you're thinking, well, yeah, let those guys go because I need the extra work and this oversaturation is crazy. No, I mean, it's needed. But again, remember, 85% are part-timers. So we need your videos too, because you would be probably affected after a law like AB 5 destroyed livelihoods. I mean, it destroyed, almost 2 million self-employed people after all of the write-outs and carve-outs were done. There were still almost 2 million careers destroyed. And this is outside of gig economy. These are people who have had family businesses for 50 years. They can no longer be self-employed if they didn't meet the criteria of the ABC test. You guys can learn all about AB5, the ABC test, and the real Prop 22 details on this channel. Again, guys, all throughout this, please leave your comments below. And in the description is the upload link for a 30-second video. You don't have to be a content creator. You just have to care about your freedom to be able to be your own boss. And if that matters to you and you want to have flexibility, you want to be able to work these gig apps and potentially other things too, and be your own boss and be self-employed, then you should care. Make a 30-second video, send it. Mike and I are actually moving these very quickly, but we need more. And if you don't want to make the video, that's fine. You can do an audio recording and use the same upload link and just do it on your phone. My name is blank. I'm from blank. And I like use positive words. Doesn't have to be prefer, but use a positive word. I prefer to be an independent contractor because, the common one for the 85% would be flexibility. Clearly, they need that flexibility. This week, finally, the long-running legal saga regarding Prop 22 in California is coming to some conclusion here. So Proposition 22, the gig industry-backed initiative that 58% of the California voters voted for in 2020, has been back and forth in the law, including being ruled unconstitutional by the Superior Court judge, being upheld by a state appeals court. So they already said it was unconstitutional to the California Constitution. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, and other companies have used the law to treat drivers and delivery workers in California as independent contractors, not as independent contractors not in place. Sorry, guys. The specific question before the state's highest court is whether Prop 22 conflicts with the state legislators' constitutional power to enforce a complete workers' compensation system because of a clause in the initiative declaring gig workers, independent contractors not eligible for the whole law could be thrown out. So we're looking at all of Prop 22 being thrown out. And again, you guys, I have tons of information on AB 5, Prop 22, all of this on this channel. If you ever need, just comment below what you're looking to find, and I will respond to the comment with a video from somewhere in my archives of this channel with something you should watch. So if you have a direct question regarding California, ask me, because I'm sure it's been addressed by experts on this channel. Experts who know more than most of the people who we've elected to vote on this stuff. Many of you already know this. You've seen these that I've done. I won't even get into the amount of names of people that we have, but we have the experts. So basically all of the people who wanted Prop 22, again, it's always, remember, it's always the loudest group that gets heard, right? So we don't, I make this joke quite often about how, we never write our congressman to say, bang up job. I really like the way you fixed the roads in my neighborhood. Thank you. We don't write thank yous. We're not a country that really does that. We don't really, it's like, we should, maybe, I don't know. Maybe, we're all just so busy all the time, but we don't write thank yous. But everybody will write, hey, I want change on this. Especially when it's, like when Prop 22 came around, the group that was pushing for it were basically union-backed groups. And Prop 22, remember, AB 5 went into effect January 1st of 2020. And the pandemic started at the end of March 2020. So they hadn't even looked at delivery, because delivery wasn't, even in California, delivery wasn't that big of a thing. I mean, the biggest delivery platform in California in 2020 was Postmates. So, I mean, just to put it in some perspective, the volume on the delivery platforms wasn't even on the radar of Prop 22. This was all designed around the Uber Lyft drivers. But even the Uber Lyft drivers who were very much getting involved said, yes, we want this. We want 120% of active time or 120% of minimum wage for active time. Minimum wage in California varies between $16 an hour and $19.82 an hour. So you do 120% of that for every active hour. The problem here is, let's just use the 16, which is most of the state. At $16 an hour, you're talking about what, $20 an hour at the 120%? If in an active hour doing rideshare, there's no way that you're not making $20. Maybe once in a while, but that would be a real mishap if you're not. So the rideshare drivers really didn't see much of this. Pandemic hit, and all these delivery drivers started getting it, and they were loving it. They're still liking it, but now everybody, not just the rideshare drivers, but the delivery drivers too, want Prop 22 overturned. And this is what I've always said. This is not the way to approach this. Do I have the perfect answers? No. But have we thrown out some ideas? I think we've thrown out some great ones. But to be honest, like, this is not, all these states trying different things are not the way that it's working. We need something new. We needed the space defined a long time ago. A perfect example of this, they're going back and forth about Prop 22 and is it constitutional in California? Did it break the California Constitution? And, it ends up being that no. I mean, basically, it looks like it's not going to go anywhere, because so now, to those people who are like, I'm glad we have Prop 22, know that most of the people who fought for Prop 22 are trying to now end it and ask for way more and bargaining powers and unionization and all this. So they're trying to wreck Prop 22 as you guys who do use it like it. You guys got very lucky. See, California's it's a very dynamic decision, because it happened at a time, it happened in the crossroads. AB 5 happened on January 1st, 2020. Pandemic on March 30th or March 28th was the CARES Act of 2020. They didn't know that the delivery apps would fall into this, even though they did know it would be all the gig apps. They didn't know we'd be affected so hard by a pandemic at the time. But even before that, in January 31st, February 1st, they were supposed to start paying these gig apps were supposed to start paying the Prop 22 money, and or the AB5 employment law. They were going to have to go under that, and that's when they said, "Listen, we want on the November ballot for Prop 22, and this is what it'll do. It'll guarantee all these things. It'll get you a stipend for medical. There were all these different things, and everybody who was fighting for it wanted it. Now, even the lead person who wanted Prop 22 has said that he said at the courthouse this week, he is the lead plaintiff in the case, spoke about getting hurt as a gig driver years ago and being unable to get workers' comp. We are asking the justices to stand behind drivers and to change Prop 22. This is the person who wanted Prop 22. He's one of the leads that said it's fine. This is what we need. Now it's not enough. And the court now has 90 days to hand down a decision, which could transform the gig economy in California. If Prop 22 is thrown out, gig companies would be subject to California Assembly Bill AB 5. That means that you need to be a W-2, a franchisee, a franchisor, or things that won't happen. Let me put it that way very clearly. Things that won't happen. 1.4 million gig workers in the state of California will not become W-2 workers. And the ones who are, if they even try to franchise, the ones who would be, remember, you're going to be an employee now of these apps that many of us don't have a high regard for. So we use them to make money. But also realize that there is an accidental insurance of $1 million under Prop 22 by the company that you're active with. So I state this again, on a weekend of freedom, we fight for the right to be self-employed and to run our own lives. If we're already covered with $1 million insurance policy, which might not be enough in a catastrophic type situation, but understand no other self-employer that starts a business in this country has that either. Construction workers, all those, or construction teams, they have to get insurance and this, that, and the other to cover their plots or their builds. So you know what? Self-employment comes with a lot of responsibility, but we are owed self-employment. It's all right. And that's 13 minutes of gig news in just under 13 minutes.